Hi everyone, it's Amanda Gore here. And I don't know about you, but 2024 to me vaporized. I don't know, time seems to be getting faster and faster, and I seem to have more and more to do and get less and less done and feel more and more overwhelmed. So I don't know if that's you, but as a female running her own business, with some help, but not a great deal, and moving countries, it's been an astonishingly interesting, or should I say challenging year. And one of the first things in terms of the power of joy and how joy actually makes business so much better is for us to start to think about the concept of who likes to deal with miserable people? Well, no one. But how do we maintain that sense of joy when we're feeling overwhelmed and we're juggling 8 million things, particularly if you have children and aging parents and partners in life and a business and just a life? So it's a little video, but to give you a few short tips. And I wrote a book called Joy is an Inside Job. And the master trick to finding and maintaining joy is gratitude. And you know, I teach this stuff, but I still have to remind myself. I've just been through a very tough few days. And it's so easy, isn't it, to get lost in the mind of everything that isn't going right, and so what am I doing wrong, and all the questions we ask ourselves. So I had to slap myself up the side of the face and remind myself that gratitude is the master reframer. It's impossible to have a heart full of misery and a heart full of gratitude at the same time. And so if you can choose consciously, when you're trapped in the mind chatter and the stories that are going on and how hopeless everything is. For example, I'm trying to get some articles published, and I pitched 20 different magazines, 20 different topics, and I've heard 2 no's. And I'm grateful for the no's because I heard something. The other 18, I haven't heard a thing. So I had to really kind of take myself in hand and start to look at the things for which I'm grateful. And so choose to do that consciously. And one of the little tricks that I teach when I speak is to give yourself a symbol. And so I have these gratitude glasses. And when I look at everything through gratitude glasses, it reminds me of how blessed I truly am and how many things I actually do have to be grateful about. And, you know, it sounds like such a little thing, but it's actually enormous. And these symbols, silly as they are, humans work well with symbols. They replace 1,000 words. And you can do this with your children round the dinner table as well. And it starts to teach children optimism and about gratitude. So everybody has to put them on. And if you don't have a set of these, then just use these. These are gratitude glasses. And they work just as well. Or you can, I think it's more fun with kids to do that and with grown-ups, but go to a dollar store and get a set of these, or somewhere and buy some silly glasses, and they become your gratitude glasses. So round the table every night, as a ritual, you ask everybody, what's the thing you're most grateful for that happened today? Now, it doesn't matter how young you start. Very quickly, little babies start to learn the concept as we show it for them. And the other thing you can do if you've got staff is whenever you have a staff meeting, put these on the table, explain what they are first, because otherwise they think you've gone mad. But explain, or you can show them one of my videos on YouTube, Amanda Gore TV, and you just have everybody at the table as a ritual from now on. Answer the question, what's the thing you're most grateful for since we last met? And if you want the cheapest, free way to change the culture in your organization, try this. Before you scoff it, try it. Because hardly anybody goes, oh, joy, a staff meeting, on their way to the meeting. But if they know that every single time you're going to be asking them, what's the thing they're most grateful for since you last met, then they'll be thinking about all the things for which they could possibly be grateful since you last met. And they'll arrive in a much better state of mind. You know, sometimes I think we try to get too complicated as humans. It's the simpler things that we will actually do that make a difference. So the first step to finding and maintaining your joy is to become a gratitude finder and to keep your gratitude glasses on. And that helps you find a really authentic level of joy that will emanate out to everybody. And it is one of the responsibilities of a leader to be realistically optimistic. Now, the second thing that I think really helps, a very simple thing, I thought I'd give you 3 or 4 simple things that might help you, is to become a good finder. And I know that sounds very simple and silly, but honestly, most of us, we are hardwired to look for the crap, to look for the stuff that's going to be difficult, to look at what's going wrong. I mean, if you just took the last few days that I've had, unexpected bills came in, pitches not accepted, a couple of other business things haven't worked out, a couple of personal things haven't worked out. It would be very easy, and truthfully, I did slide a little, but it would be very easy for me to stay in that misery a whole lot longer. But if I consciously take control of my stories and my mind, and I start to drop to my heart, which is another trick, and I choose to focus on being a good finder, I can find good in everything. And even if it's, you know what, I'm still breathing. And if I start to think, well, that's not a good thing, then I really have to slap myself up the side of the head. But I can choose to go outside. I have a beautiful river at the back of my house, and I can look at the river and just choose to find good about it and feel blessed with the peace and the beauty of the area. So being a good finder is not hard. And with people, if you have troublesome people at work, one of the ways you can keep your joy levels up is to find one good thing about that person and focus on it. Because we're all connected in the quantum field, and our nonverbal communication is constantly talking to everyone else around us. So if you actually don't like someone and you think they're a bit useless, they know, and they're not going to like you much. However, if you find one good thing about them, let's say they look good in blue, and you focus on that one good thing, you'll find the whole interaction with them turns around. The third thing that helps you find your joy and maintain it is to be just by itself is enough, but to be present. This one is another ongoing challenge for me. Lao Tzu said we teach best what we most need to learn. And so I'm going to be an authority on teaching this. Being present, it means being focused right now, right here, and not allowing thoughts of the past come in, worries about the future come in, because they're the things that put us into fear. And fear is the antithesis of joy. As soon as you let fear come in, it will take your joy. It is the real joy killer. And there are core fears, you can see them on my YouTube channel. We haven't got time in this one to talk about, that take away our joy. But if you can come into the present moment and genuinely recognize there is nothing to be fearful of in this moment, unless of course you're in a dangerous situation. In that case, best you do something to get out of the dangerous situation. But 99.9% of the time, we are not present because we're too busy worried about what's gone on in the past or what may or may not happen in the future. But if you take a big breath, you drop from your head down to your heart, you become present, then another couple of breaths, then that will allow you to focus on what's in front of you and forget about the overwhelm. Because part of the overwhelm, I know I make myself feel overwhelmed when my office, as I'm looking at now, looks this horrendous mess with millions of pieces of paper everywhere. All that does, until I clean it up, is make me think about how much I've got to do. And so instead of sitting down and just doing one thing, I'm sitting there, but I'm surrounded by all these other things that I know I've got to do. And not unconsciously, it's affecting me. So I'm not being present. So I have to clear out the area around my desk so I can sit down at my computer and focus on one thing at a time. So with being present, it's kind of got a corollary. So be focused on one thing at a time, because women, we're multitasking all the time. We've got a load of washing on, we've got something else, especially now we're at home, or we're doing 14 things at once, and we think we can do it well. But most of the research shows that when we multitask, it does not work. It just pushes us towards overwhelm and further away from joy. The next one is another simple one. It's to go and ground yourself. Go outside barefoot. I know if it's going to be winter, then it'll be hard, but if you're watching this in Australia, then I just dropped my pen. If you're watching this in Australia, it's summertime, so you can go outside barefoot and get your feet on earth, on lawn or earth. In fact, when I moved to America, I moved to Charlottesville, and I'm not big on ticks. And everywhere it seemed to me that I went in Charlottesville had ticks, had the terror of ticks. And I let that fear overcome me. And so I was desperate to be barefoot somewhere, because I came from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland where I was barefoot all the time, literally. And so I ended up moving so I could be near a beach, because I missed the beach. But I would stand on wood, that was on the ground if I could. If you can find a small patch of earth, a bit of grass, anything that's on the earth, barefoot, the combination of the electrons between the earth and you actually does something physiological to calm you down. So earth yourself. And if you're trapped in a high rise and you can't get anywhere where there's soil, then buy some earthing sheets or an earthing mat. You can get them online and they really do work. And then there was one last thing. Sorry, now I've got a frog in my throat. But I'll be grateful for that frog in my throat, because perhaps it'll make me speak more clearly. And I'll be a good finder about it, that it will help me speak more clearly. I will be present and I'll focus on what it is that I'm trying to say to you. And I will ground myself in some way as soon as I get away from this video. But the last thing that I wanted to share with you is the concept of celebration. Because we forget to celebrate. And most of us have given meaning to the word celebration, that it's a big thing. Something big happens and so we celebrate our big. But celebrate the small things. I've started to celebrate that I managed to get through an hour and I maintained my joy level, or my frequency stayed high. And I'll do a little happy dance, or I'll just quietly say to myself, well done. It doesn't have to be a big celebration. You can go to a mirror, look at yourself and say, you deserve a ta-da, and then give yourself ta-da, because you achieved this little thing. And that concept of celebrating the small wins actually rewires your brain. And just to finish up, there's a wonderful story I read. I wish I could remember from whence I found it, but I can't. It's about this young monk, and he's in a monkery, and he goes up to the head monk, who's an old guy, and he says, Father John, there's something that I just don't understand about all our readings, and I just can't get the concept of celibate. Can you help me with that? And so Father John explains to him what's going on. Excuse me. And then once the young man's gone off, he thinks, well, I'll just go down and I'll double check all of that and I'll see if there's a different context. So about 4 days later, the monks are wandering around going, where's Father John? Has anybody seen Father John? Nobody's seen Father John. So they start looking for him, and eventually they found him in the bowels of the monkery. And he's sitting where all the old records are, and his head is on a desk and he's sobbing. And everybody rushes out to him, Father John, what is it? What is it? He says, it was celebrate. And so, with that funny little story at the end, go forth, rediscover your joy that is inside you, because joy is an inside job, and celebrate the small wins. Celebrate yourself for getting to the point that you're at. Celebrate yourself for persevering and continuing, even in the face of overwhelm or hardship or uncertainty and all the fear that's going on, because you're doing a great job. So from my heart to yours, and I dropped my gratitude glasses. With my gratitude glasses on, thank you for watching this, and go forth and be more joyful. Oh, wait, there's one more. One thing I forgot to say to you. Go forth and be a CJF. You know what that is? Chief Joy Facilitator. Seriously, if you perceive yourself, if you believe yourself to be a Chief Joy Facilitator, as a leader, you're going to find lots and lots more research coming out now on the value of joy at work, particularly in these days with mental health going nuts. so to speak. So if you're a Chief Joy Facilitator, you go to work and you bring joy with you. Be the CJF at home, be the CJF with your friends, and most importantly, be your own CJF. Take care of yourself. Do little things that bring you joy, that help you maintain the joy inside. So I hope that's helpful. You got all the tips there, and perhaps I'll see you again one day. Take care. Be joyful. And I'm trying to turn the